All right. Welcome to this 14th episode of Warrior Week Parables from the Pit. Sit down, relax, and get into a conversation of power and truth. Welcome to this week's podcast. My guest today is Mr. Sang. Well, welcome.
Hey, thanks, Coach. Thanks for having me.
Sang is your real name.
Sang's my real name.
And you go by?
Sebastian.
All right, we got Sebastian in the house, but I like to kind of fucking call him Sang. I know from the first time you and I went on the phone conversation, I called you Sang.
That's right.
And Sang it was.
That's right.
Because I saw power in Sang.
Yes.
And you were not seeing power in Sang. You were seeing power in Sebastian. Today,
right.
Of course, it doesn't fucking matter because you've gone through the experience or liberation and acceptance of Sang and operating as Sebastian, which is Sang. We're going to talk about that. But first, we're going to talk about your first introduction to the message of Warrior. Life was kind of working for you. Life was going on for you, at least from the lens that you were seeing it.
That's right.
Comes along this message on the internet, Facebook, whatever, about Warrior Book. And so talk to me about your first conversation of listening to Warrior, and then what did that shifted in you? And then I'm going to ask you further question because I specifically remember your entrance into the Brotherhood. I can close my eyes and recall how if your first video, I can recall that fucking video, unforgettable entrance, and then the kick that you actually got in the dick for that video. So let's talk about your experience coming in, man.
Sure. So I heard something my friend told me after I told him come to Warrior Week, I sent you that shit a year ago. I said, fuck, you didn't. And he sent me the Warrior video, the drama, a year before this. So I wasn't even ready for the message. When I did hear the message, I was multitasking like I normally do. I was watching the video of the documentary, and I'm multitasking, paying half-assed attention, and I heard Garrett say one thing, and it stopped me dead. And he said his friend was telling him, you're so lucky that you have this great wife and your business and your kids and all that. And Garrett said, fuck you! Fuck you! This is not luck! I worked hard for it! And that woke something up in my heart, in my spirit. Because I've worked my ass off. Where I'm not is not by luck, but I was playing as if I got here by luck. And it woke me up. I started the video all over again. I watched the whole documentary, and I said, what the fuck, 20,000? What the hell is this guy doing? And I went and told my wife, and at that time we had no money. I told her, I'm going to Warrior Week this year. I'm making a declaration right now. And that's how I got here.
Okay, great story. And so we're gonna go ahead and attach the background of who Sang is and who Sebastian is to the man you just fucking heard. Hey, you can feel the intensity. He's real, and he's just not gonna slow down because he's been slowing down most of his life.
That's right.
Most of life, and you're gonna be actually very surprised. Very, very fucking surprised from the multiple backgrounds of Sang. So we're going to start with that, right? We're going to start with, first, we're going to paint the image. So we're going to set the frame with your spiritual background. Talk to us about the complete spiritual background. You can talk to the camera.
All right.
You can talk to me.
Great.
I'm the fucking host, so you got to keep your eyes on me. But you can talk to them as well because they're here to listen to it. All right, man.
So I came to America with a German Catholic stepfather. So I started out going Catholic school, German Catholic. I mean, seriously, it's a culture. You're German and you're Catholic.
Okay.
I'm the only one that's not German or white at that school in the Midwest. Then my parents got divorced. My mom tried to teach me Buddhism. I didn't even know what the hell that was. And I just went on my own spiritual journey. I literally did every religion because the girls in every religion were beautiful. And so I tested every religion because I was seeking for something deeper and purpose. Why did I come to America? What's my purpose in life? Did I have a father? And then finally, I landed on Christianity on my own when I was in prison.
Got it.
So I walked out of prison accepting the faith of being a Christian on my own. And I had the influence of being Catholic. I had the influence, even season being Muslim, even a season being Buddhist, season being atheist. I mean, I had some friends that said, fuck God. I said, yeah, fuck God. If there was a God, why wouldn't he give me a dad? Why did I have multiple stepfathers? You know, why am I always a minority? And so I was angry at God for a season too. But I landed at the very end on my feet as a Christian.
Beautiful. And what I want you to hear in the words that Christian has and sharing here tonight in this place is that, like, the man is talking about pain, multiple pains that he felt as a child, pain that he felt as an adult. You heard prison. There is a background behind that. We're going to talk about that. And there is pain inside of that. There's pain in prison. There is pain before getting in prison. So if you're hearing this and if you're sitting and watching this, there is a pain from Sedation that could resonate with you. Maybe you're the kind of guy that never had a father, or maybe you had a biological father, but he was never there.
That's right.
And so I want you to tune the waves of your pain with Sedation pain, because we're going to go to places tonight. And so talk to me about what happened once you found your own path in Christianity, your religion, your beliefs in God, and how you became a leader at that. So what did you do?
Well, let me back up. I was always a leader.
Sure.
Just naturally a leader. Everything, I remember everything I did, even from elementary school. Would go to a field trip at the park. I was the leader leading all the guys.
Got it.
Everywhere I was a leader. So it was natural. But when I came out as a Christian, because that's how I was in the mafia. I'd be natural leader, made a lot of money, climbed up the ranks. When I came out, I didn't feel like a leader. I had so much shame, guilt, dirt. I didn't lead for years. I didn't go to church because that's what white people did. Asians are supposed to go to Buddhist temple. Some Asian will go to a Catholic church, but I was unfamiliar with that too. And so I hid out, and I didn't lead. I went back and I learned. I went to a white church. I put myself lower than them. I learned from them, studied from them, but I never stepped up as a leader. So I didn't lead for many moons, many seasons.
You were just a student.
I was just a student.
So the other thing that, the other thing that's going to happen tonight is we're going to tell it the way it is, because there's a lot of fucking hidden conversation that takes place between different races.
Yes.
Like there'll be the black guys talking about the white guys. There'll be white guys talking about black guys. There'll be white dudes talking about Asians. There'll be like Persian dudes talking about Arabs. There'll be Arabs talking about Europeans. There'll be Europeans talking about Asians. And like there is this separation, and we cannot fucking deny that. Whoever's going to deny that is just like, dude, you're not living in a fucking reality. There is a separation that has taken place between cultures. I'm specifically talking about fucking America. And if you think, yeah, your kids are being raised and they're multicultural, yes, they are. But at the same time, there is separation that is witnessed by your kids, is witnessed by you. You can just see, you go in a place and the Asians are just hanging out with themselves. You go in a place and the Jews are just hanging out with themselves. You can't date a Jew girl because you're not worth it to go in their circle. Same thing for the fucking Orthodox, Muslim. If you're not the same religion, you can't really be part of the family. But yet, you're welcome as a friend.
That's right.
But it's a false welcome because you can never be all in within that circle.
Nope.
Never fucking in. As a kid growing up, I felt that very similar to you. That sometimes I was all in, and sometimes I was not. I was accepted from the surface. Okay, man, you're part of the society. I get that. You know, you live here. I get that. But other than that, motherfucker, you're not coming into my circle. Right. That's right. And again, you can look at this from another perspective. Dude, just think about Harvard. Harvard is a fucking closed society. I don't give a fuck how good your grades are. If you don't know anyone inside of the circle, you're not going to really become part of that circle. Yeah, you'll be a graduate of Harvard, but you're not really part of the fucking circle. The circle that actually gets to power.
That's right.
It's protected.
That's right.
And this exists in all fucking communities, right? There are men that actually break the boundaries because we don't carry guilt and shame by doing so, because it's the reality. Maybe labeled as racist, fuck you. But the reality is we are not going to tolerate. I am not going to tolerate fucking racism bullshit. I'm not going to tolerate the fact that your race is actually creating circle and is putting me out. I'm not for that. So if you're black and you're not accepting me, fuck you. And if you're Jew and you don't want me to date your daughter, then fuck you. Fuck you. Like if a real fuck you. Because in today's world, what I teach my son If I live in this country, we're all fucking united. This country is called the United State of America. It's not called the United Black State of America. It's not called the United fucking Jews State of America. It's not called the United Persian, Iranian, fucking French, fucking you name it, Arab. It's called United for a reason. And for a lot of people, this conversation may be like, what the fuck, bro? Like what? And they can come up with all kind of criticism, but at the end of the day, this is a manly conversation.
That's right.
I'm talking about my pain. I'm not saying that this is the fact of society. I'm saying this was my facts and my reality, and this is my experience growing up, and even today, this is what I fight every day. You went to a very similar situation, and I want you to break it down.
Sure.
I want you to break down the community, Asian community. I want you to literally tell the story of the fucking Asian community, how and what actually takes place from isolation and separation, and then on the other side, how you're treated by others, which is not different than what you're trying to protect.
Yeah.
So go ahead, man.
So I'll tell you, I'll start from the beginning and get deep in the Chinese part and the Vietnamese part, and it'll show the whole picture. So growing up white,
yes,
my mom wouldn't want to speak any other language but English so we could learn it. Though she's Vietnamese Chinese, so I only spoke English. Then they got divorced. I moved to Dallas, Texas from the Midwest town. First time in my life, I saw someone with a dark tan. And I thought I was the only dark tan. The kids made fun of me because I was darker than them. And then I saw someone with the ultimate tan. It was a black man. I said, oh shit, this guy has the best tan. I knew nothing of black people. Then I saw my first Mexican. I said, oh my God, who's this guy? He looks closer to me. So I started hanging out with Mexicans. And listen, I literally consider myself Mexican. I grew up that culture that deep.
Yes.
I dated only Mexican girls.
Yes.
All my uncles, quote unquote, in the mafia, in the Mexican mafia, were all They treated me like family.
Yeah.
I grew up with them like family, but there's still that one edge. I was still a Chino. I was still the Chinaman. That my culture. I mean, I made them a lot of money.
Yeah.
I was in junior high selling drugs for them. I had 2 junior highs and 3 high school I was selling to. I was making a lot of money for them, but I could never always all the way in.
Yeah.
It was crazy. It was crazy. And every woman, I didn't get this for a while. Every woman I wanted to be in love with and marry and be a part of, I still couldn't be it because I was Chino. And I didn't understand that. That's early in the 80s, right? Early 90s. So it was really hard times in the sense of racial. We live in a whole different world right now, 20 years later. So then I hid out and I went back with the white people because that's who I grew up with.
Yeah.
But then I went way too far from white people by then. I was way out of context. And I knew for sure I could never marry a white girl. I knew I couldn't.
Isn't that fucking crazy?
No, and you couldn't fall in love.
The limitation imposed on ourselves because of the goddamn fucking stories.
Just because of stories. Just because I'm a different culture, different. And I'm more white than they were.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up German Catholic, very white, right?
Yeah.
Very Midwest. So now watch this, brother. I can't speak anything but English.
Yeah.
I mean, I was all Mexican, went white, hung out blacks for a season because I sold drugs with them. But I really couldn't. All the girls are bigger than me. Yeah. I mean, that's the only thing that really stopped me. I was very attractive to black women. They're very beautiful, but they're all bigger than me.
Yeah.
I felt insecure and small.
Sure.
So I went back with the Mexicans, made more money and everything. Then my mother said, hey, your brother and uncles are coming to America. I said, what? I think I was about 12, 13 at that time. How? I didn't even know I had a brother. This is the culture I grew up in. She didn't want to tell me in case he died at the refugee camp coming to America. So I'd never have to cry and mourn an older brother who died. Now I'm about 12, 13 years old. I have a brother, an older brother. Man, for me, I was like, what the hell? That just blew my mind. They come to America, and when they came, I said, hell no, I'm not like them. They were on the refugee camp, living on the beach. They're dark, big fro hair. They had high water pants. They looked like, I really had a complex of being the minority. They were worse than the minority. I mean, they were fresh off the boat.
Exactly. That's the fucking FOB.
Yeah, they're fresh off the boat.
Like, and we are labeled daily as FOBs.
Yep. And
motherfucker, I live in this country for 30 years.
That's right. Fucking, you called me fresh off the boat. But here's the thing, they come to our house.
Yeah, fresh out of a fucking boat. Yeah, my fucking $1 million boat, bitch.
I had 13 family members come all at once.
Yeah.
We picked him up at the airport. I couldn't even say his name. His name is Min. My tongue was so Caucasian, I couldn't even say the word Min. Mun. I couldn't even say Min. I couldn't pronounce it. So long story short, I watched them use chopsticks. And I said, what the fuck they doing?
Yeah.
What is that? What are they doing?
Yeah.
Why aren't they using forks? I couldn't understand. Those are chopsticks. I never even knew how to use chopsticks. And here's the worst part. Making a long story short, I had to learn how to be Vietnamese Chinese. I had to learn how to do the Asian squat. The Koreans call it kimchi squat.
Yeah.
I had to learn how to use chopsticks. I had to learn mannerism, everything. But guess what? I was never enough to be Vietnamese or Chinese.
Why is that?
Because I was white. Because I sold out. I came to America
so
before them.
The reality
My own
is
culture turned on me.
The reality is like you never belonged anywhere.
Never. Not with the white, not with the Asian.
Not with the Mexican,
Vietnamese.
not in mafia, not in jail. There was one place you felt that you belong, and you shared that with me. And that was when you went on a mission. Like you felt that this is the place for you. Talk about that experience.
Sure.
And even how that was a temporary lift.
Sure. Temporary lift. That's a good way to put it. So for a season after my wife and I got married, a year after we got married, from Dallas, Texas, we moved to South Central LA in Watts.
Yeah.
And we were missionaries doing leadership development and church plant with the leaders in the community.
Yes.
So where they shot the movie Training Day, that project, we lived there.
So this is after the mafia involvement, and this is after prison. You find Christianity, you get married, and you're now like on the path of God.
Yes, I'm serving God, raising up leaders, planting churches. And when I'm in there, at first they test you. What are you doing here, Chino? You know, it's an all-black area, and back in those days.
In the project that you were talking about,
And they're seeing if I'm a 5-0, I own a liquor store, or a dry cleaner. Because that's the only thing you know about Asians. Either you're a cop, you own a liquor store, or you own a dry cleaner. That's the only thing. But once they got to know me, then they called me the church man. Then they just labeled me church man. But here's why they accepted me. Because I lived where they lived. I didn't live above them and came in. I lived where they lived. When the drive-bys happened, we all came out and talked to each other. I lived where they lived. I hurt where they hurt. And when they saw that for a season, they saw a repetition of it. That wasn't just here, I'm going to take off. They saw me consistently there. I had 2 of my 3 boys in that neighborhood, born in that neighborhood.
Yes, yes.
So they said, you're legit. You're for real. And they accepted me regardless of my color.
So what feeling comes to you whenever you see the movie Training Day? Because, dude, by the way, that fucking movie, it is my favorite fucking movie.
Yeah.
The best part in that movie is when Denzel looks around and is like like the wolf look, you know, and then he goes, "Are you a wolf?" And he goes, "Oh, dude, that is to me." I would watch that over and over, and I can just close my eyes and I can visual I have a visual on the fucking neighborhood. I know exactly what you're talking about, but you live there, obviously. So how do you feel when you watch that movie today, or just recently, or whatever the case might be?
There's a mixed emotion. One, I'm fucking proud because those are fucking leaders. Those guys are leaders. But the part that makes me sad is they're stuck in a story. That's the only place they could lead. That's the only way they could lead.
Yeah.
And I had to break out the same context. I was born a natural leader, but then my context was I can only lead here. Because this is the dominant culture. I started calling it dominant culture, but this was, back then I'd say, this is the white man's culture. I can't lead in that culture. I can't lead in that culture. So I couldn't do it. Yeah, stories. But my natural leadership. So when I watch it, I'm like, these guys are fucking badass. Because that's who I grew up with.
Yeah.
These are real men. They lay their life down one another. But then it breaks my heart because the story just keeps them in prison right there. That's the only way, with drugs and prostitution. That's the only place they can leave.
So if you're a man like listening to this right now and you come from that side of the world, because like you can relate to multiple sides of this, right? And Christian is going to get it. Sang is going to get in further in details about his journey in Christianity and how he became a leader, built a church and multiple missions and like blew it out, right? But on the other side, if you've taken part of the gang of mafia in the past, or maybe you're currently in it, or if you've been in the prison, or maybe you're hearing this in the prison, because I don't know what the fuck this podcast is being played. But one thing for sure is that the voice is telling us to broadcast the message of being real, the message of no longer fucking hiding behind anything for any fucking purpose or any organizer's interest. There is no organizer. This podcast is not organized by me. It's not organized by Sang. It is a conversation that is taking place, and time and place is allowing this conversation to be broadcasted, period. We are no one, we are not anyone in control or in power. We are simply vessels and instrument to carry the fucking message and let it out there. So inside of that, talk to us, man, about, before we get into it, talk to us about the number one pain you felt in the mafia, what was as a man, now that you look back, because then you might have not known, what was the number one pain that Sang had in the mafia?
You want to hear a funny? The number one pain I had in the mafia was the same pain I had as a pastor in a church.
Shit.
You really? Because you know why? Because I was a fucking liar. I was lonely. I lived into a story for me to have acceptance and love. I brought you to America, have money, power, success. That's my mom's story. The mafia story, men don't cry. Men are powerful. We have drugs. So at a young age, I'm talking about 5th grade, I was already smoking cigarettes, drinking beer. 7th grade, smoking pot, then start selling it. I was fucked up because I thought I wanted to be a man. I didn't know my dad. So what would men do? We drink the most. I would sit at home, practice drinking, but my anger just fueled it. I'd practice smoking, sex with everybody, anybody walk around.
To be the man.
To be a man, because that makes you a man.
And then to be violent.
Oh, violent was my signature.
To be the man.
To be the man.
Specifically, fucking knife was your signature.
That was my signature. That's the first time I got put in prison because I stabbed 3 men.
Yep.
That's why I was in prison. And in Vietnamese culture, we have this thing called nhau. We go to each other's house, we sit on the floor, and you sit on this long, like rectangular floor shape. At the very end is the oldest man, and the other end's the youngest.
Yes.
To sit at that end, to learn their beer drinking tips, how they put their thumb through a beer can and do all these cool tricks and laugh and smoke. You have to progress your way up that totem pole.
Yeah.
And I sat at the very end as the youngest one, not even knowing how to speak the language, just watching everything they do in context, learning the language, drinking like crazy, fighting, all those things. And I moved my way all the way up as the youngest person next to the oldest person.
So,
because I wanted to be a man.
If again, you're watching this, right, and you have a teenage, because you were a teenager, and you have a teenager, and it's specifically a teenage boy, and you know that some shit is going on, that you feel, or you know for sure that he's part of a gang, or he's part of a organized crime, or that he's getting on the path of becoming a man by associating manhood to drugs, alcohol, cigarettes, having sex, and then violence, right? If your teenager is actually seeking manhood in violence, drugs, alcohol, and as well as, just going after women in like just womanizing, I'm going to have you consider it's because you have not led him to a place where he can feel that he's being led towards being a man. And I know this is fucking hard to hear. Like, this is, how many boys you have?
3.
3 fucking boys, right?
All in high school.
And so I know this is fucking hard for you to hear. But this is what you heard when you came into Warrior Week and you went into that first night into the pit.
That's right.
Into the darkness. And it was painful because it is the same conversation that I'm telling right now, that if you have a teenage son and he's currently inside of this situation, he is not to fucking blame, motherfucker. You are the one that is not leading him. And you may be saying, like, I hear you, man, but I've done everything that I can. Like, I hear you, man, but I don't know what else to fucking do, because you're living in the story that you have lost control. In fact, you are in charge. You are the fucking hunter. You hunt your son because the hunters lead. If you are not hunting your son, it's because you have stopped chasing him. There's a greater version of your son that exists, and you have to hunt that greater version for him to becoming that man. It is your responsibility, and 100% fucking your responsibility, to lead your son. If he is affected currently by drugs, if he's affected currently by violence, gangs, and any other form of manhood that he feels that he belongs, is just because he doesn't feel that he belongs under your leadership. And that's fucking hard to hear. But here's what you can do. You can grow a pair of fucking balls, and you can have your son listen to this podcast with you. And you can admit to him that, hey man, I fucked up. Based on what the fuck this guy is saying, I fucked up. But I can tell you, I'm making a promise to you right now that starting today, I'm going to fucking lead you. And I'm not going to fucking stop. I'm going to fucking hunt the greatest version of yourself, and I'm going to lead you to that. That's a promise, son. He may not believe you, but if he hears it on this podcast, he may just actually connect to Sang's story, because Sang is exactly your teenager, and he's describing it. He went after all these things because there was no one to lead you towards manhood, so you associate manhood with what's available to you.
That's right.
Like at one point, you got to figure this out. Mm-hmm. Okay, so continue your story, man, because this is pulling in the audience inside of this. Like, if you want to play this game, motherfucker, if you want to really play this game, allow your feelings to fucking flow and bring yourself in, and then allow yourself the permission to see where you fucked up. This may not resonate with some. Say, okay, listen, I don't have boys. I get it. It's not different in the case of your daughters.
That's right. Well, let me pause real quick since you're talking about that son. So I just did a training. One of the guys comes out of the training, and he was a pastor for 15 years. He got fucked 15 years ago from his senior pastor, took half his pay and asked him to double the work because he was building bigger than his senior pastor's ministry. So that guy, out of jealousy, was trying to squash him. Mm-hmm. So he hasn't been in ministry 15 years. Mm-hmm. He comes into my training, right? He comes to my house after we celebrate. He had major breakthroughs. He's starting to lead himself. My son, who's in the training with him, my oldest teenage son, who's 17 years old, be 18 February 15th. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. He looks at me before he leaves, and he says, hey, you really want to lead your son? You go home, tell your son something he doesn't know about you, and you will lead him. I didn't know about this conversation. The guy goes home, calls me 3 days later. He says, you know what your fucking son told me? I go, what? He said, tell my son something I've never told him so I can lead him and stop hiding in the shadows. And I come out into the light, be whole and complete, be in integrity. So I told my son, I'm addicted to pornography. And it's his son's 14. It's killing my relationship with your mom. It's killing my relationship with you. It's killing me. I'm not going to do that anymore because I'm committed to you. Him and his son broke down, and that was like a week ago. And since then, they have never been closer.
Because that's the highest level of commitment that you make. It is no longer to yourself, because you constantly break your commitment to yourself.
Yep.
But when you make it, and even to your wife, you make commitment to your wife, and you break it. Why? Because you have a story that no matter what, she'll support you.
Yeah.
But then when you make a commitment to your son, oh my God. I made a commitment to my son that my son will not see me drunk or high in his lifetime. And I will not look at my son drunk or high.
Wow.
That's 10 years ago, and that's where I stopped fucking drinking and smoking weed or whatever that was back in the days or whatever, right? I've experienced, I didn't smoke that one, but I had some in the past, but it didn't really do much, but I was the drinker. But I stopped that because I made a commitment to my son before he was born. And today I look back, I'm like, shit, man, I'm fucking proud because I never seen my son with drunk eyes.
Wow.
And he never seen me drunk. So, fuck, that's power to me. Like, right, to me, that's power. And I can ride that fucking wave.
And that's exactly what I'm saying, Coach. I'm saying this. My son, 17 now, he should be fucked up. The way I grew up, I was in deportation for 3 years. Yeah. They're deporting me out of America back to Vietnam because of my criminal records.
Yeah.
We broke the cycle because the way I look at him in the eyes, the way I did the work, he is now a recipient of it. And as a 17-year-old, he's carrying it over to other men and their generation, telling them what their son needs.
Yeah. Because he's coming from a place of truth.
That's right.
He's coming from a place of experience. It's like, listen, I've been there. I've carried this pain. My dad was this and this and that. Like, I'm 17, but bro, like, I'm 37.
Yeah,
because I went to 20 years of fucking pain.
That's right.
In fact, it's just something that I just downloaded. It's like, we need to do another episode, and we need to have your son here with you.
Oh shit, he'll tell you some stuff.
And you know, you can bring all your boys, like with just him, but we'll do another one.
Yeah.
And we'll have your son, and then the focus on the conversation is going to be from his perspective.
Great.
Because he's the voice. He's the voice of your kids. He's the voice of your sons. He's the voice of my son that is going to grow to become the teenager. And if I understand the patterns and the behavior and what they're looking for, I'll be able to actually lead them. It is not the guy in church. It is not another book. It is not another movie. It is not another therapy. It is not another fucking seminar event that is going to teach me fatherhood. It is not. It is another man's pain. It is another boy's, teenagers, young man pain that is going to paint the reality for me. To see if I lead my son through that path, it is a path of fucking misery. It's misleading them. I will manipulate him. I will not lead him because I'm not leading him from the place of truth, because I'm fucking lying to him. And the more I lie to him, the more I'm going to manipulate to him. And when he feels that, he's going to tell me, fuck you. I'm going to go follow somebody else. I'm going to go and see significance in a gang. I'm going to go and find significance in this other group, in this other society. I'm out of fucking house at 18, bro. I'm out. I'm going to go find leadership and power in a university, and I'm going to come home once every year. And apparently you're fucking okay with that, so fuck you.
Well, there's another thing about the Asian culture.
Yeah.
You ready? They don't go to gangs anymore. That's the low incomes, the immigrants who just came here. We've had a couple generations who settled now. So here's a new thing they're going towards. It's not pornography, it's not drugs, it's education, power, and wealth. So here's what they're doing. They're going to get the best education money can afford because their parents working their ass off 3 or 4 jobs a day so that they don't have to be immigrants like they did. They become these elite Ivy schools, come out, have the best career jobs, and they hate their life. They get this trophy wife. And we have the ideal Asian wedding, big money blown out, as our culture. Yeah. And then they go on automatic and they hate their life. They're doing something they weren't called to do, but it gives them financial security status and all those things.
That's very present in the Persian community, specifically here in Orange County in LA, where there's a big fucking community.
That's right.
And so I play soccer every fucking Sunday, and I used to play with that group, but I used to play soccer with a group that the majority of this group was plastic surgeons. Now, these people, just like you, have been embedded inside of the education for the past 15 years or so. So they're fucking socially retarded, right? They're actually ninjas when it comes to science and being a doctor.
That's right.
But they are really socially fucking retarded. How do I know that? Because when we play soccer, they actually manifest their behaviors and the frustration. Then awaits for them this doll, this little girl, some kind of fucking arranged marriage that takes place. That, oh, you're a doctor now, you're a surgeon now, plastic surgeon, a lot of money involved. So here's her daughter. There's a beautiful doll, and they get married barely without knowing each other, right?
That's right.
In a year they start dating, and they start after a year having a kid. 4 years into it, 2 kids. They only know this woman maybe for 6 months, but they've been living with this woman and under the governance of this woman and their in-laws and this, whatever they're supposed to fucking do. Come back and they're 40-year-old, grown-ass man, father of 2, married 4 years, respected fucking plastic surgeon in a soccer field, and literally ready to fucking kill people because the ball went out, or it's a corner, or it touched the hand, or literally ready to fucking kill, ready to kill.
Yeah.
Because sedated like a motherfucker, the frustration comes out. And so what you're talking about, it's absolutely present in my culture as well. And these motherfuckers are not happy, and they're not happy, but their fucking ego is the kind that is even listening to this goddamn fucking podcast. And if you're listening to this podcast and you're one of those motherfuckers that used to play soccer with me, and I see you every fucking Sunday from the other field because I stopped fucking playing with you because it was too much fucking negativity. If you are that guy, why don't you grab your fucking balls and come talk to me in the soccer field, man, and just say, you know what? You told the truth. Or forever ignore this. Just ignore this and say, fuck this guy. He just insulted me, blah, blah, blah. Fuck this guy, doesn't know anything. But what I'm saying is the following, is that they are not happy. You're right. No. How do we know that? Because we're not fucking geniuses. Just it manifests itself. There is a rage that it comes out to destroy, not to construct.
That's right. Well, I know because my culture, they're not as violent. They're chicken shit. So they become gambleholics.
Yeah.
They start cheating on their wife. Divorce is crazy. My wife and I are seeing so many people right now. Like you said, 2 young kids, maybe a third on the way, but 2 young kids, and they're starting to divorce. And we're like, what the hell's going on? We came to America for this American dream, and it's turning into a nightmare. And they have all the clothes, money, wealth, all the things we said come to America to get. They have it all, and their life is shit.
Men are sedated in all the cultures.
Yes.
Whether you're fucking Chinese, black, American, Puerto Rican, Mexican, whatever, man. The systematic sedation of man is a global fucking problem. And there's just too many fucking checklists and to-dos for us to just follow. Yeah. And then recognize that at 44, 45, I'm not happy. They call it, what do they call it?
Midlife.
Midlife crisis. Fuck that. That's another label. That's another label for people to sell product, books, seminars, and all kind of shit.
That's right.
It's not midlife crisis. It's pain. It's unprocessed pain. If you're listening to this podcast and you're a kind of guy that has unprocessed pain, and you find joy in like buying cars or going to some fucking seminars to get motivated or just buy another book, or you're not fucking happy, you don't understand, you have the car, you have the house, you have the wife, you have the kids, if something is not working, you feel bored. You're not bored, man. It's just because you're searching for something. That's why you keep participating in this discovery things. You're searching to cure the fucking pain that you're carrying, but you don't even know what this pain is. All you can say is, okay, well, this conversation is kind of fucking resonating with you. I don't know. This guy kind of gets my nerve. This Chinese guy also kind of gets on my nerve. But at least they're fucking telling the truth. So inside of that, I like this. Like, I like where this is going, and I can connect to the truth behind the intention and the conversations here.
That's right.
So, talk to me about your devotion to God and the work that you've done. Like, I want you to paint the picture. I know, but I want you to paint the picture so they understand that the man that once was in the dark side, now you are like, you were in the dark side, you left the dark to come and live in the light. Talk about how you led the light.
So you have to understand, I was facing 66 years of life. I don't care how much money. That was my 5th time being locked up. We'd get out really quick. But because of the extreme extent of what I did, it didn't matter how much money I got. My fake names, nothing worked. And this black guy comes up to me while I was in prison. And I was like, oh, shit, he's the one. The mafia put a contract in my life. I mean, they're going to have to kill me before the FBI get to me. It's a game. It's what we do. We all know the game. We know. I knew I was going to die in prison. And I knew I wasn't going to die natural. I was going to die getting shanked. This black guy comes in, and I was like, oh, shit, this is the biggest black guy I've ever seen. And he's going to kill me. We call him lifers. He's not going anywhere. He's been there a million years. Instead of shanking me, he gives me a book. And I could connect to that book. There's a book called Cross and Switchblade. Back in the 60s, this white guy, David Wilkerson, tells a Puerto Rican mafia leader, Nicky Cruz, and they only had knives back then, switchblade. They didn't have guns. And he said, you know what, Jesus loves you, I love you. Nicky Cruz goes, fuck you. You don't know what I've done. You don't know anything about me. He goes, you better shut up, white man. I'll cut you up into 1,000 pieces. And I'll never forget this. He goes, and each piece will say, Jesus loves you, I love you. I go, that's fucking crazy. Because I used to do a lot of drugs. I saw all these pieces, right?
Yeah.
Then I said, hey, if you're God, if you're that big of a God, you know what? Why don't you come here and sit down and talk with me? Because in Chinese mafia, we do sit-downs. I got to look at you in the eyes. So I got on my knees. I'm learning this from Catholic, this is the white man's God. So I got on my knees, put my hand like this together. I said, if you're a real God, come here, let's sit and talk. Because I'm fucked, man. I'm done. This is it. The mafia, the FBI said, you either work for us or we heard they got someone in the system. You might have 1 week left the most. I said, I'm fucked. So I opened my eyes. I looked. God was not there. See, you're a fucking liar. I bet you if I was white, I had a lot of white injury, right? I bet you if I was white, you'd show up. And I just, okay, because I'm a good guy, I'm going to give you one more chance. Look how fucked up I was, coach. I'm in prison facing 6 years of life, and I said I'm a good guy. So I'm going to give God one more chance. So I closed my eyes. I said, why don't you just come sit here and let's have a talk. I opened my eyes. He still wasn't there. And then out of nowhere, I heard something. I'm like, what? Why is that wrong? It's like God started talking to me. What? Why is that wrong? And it literally felt like water hit me top of my head. One thought after another, like raindrops. Another thought, why is that wrong? Why is that wrong? Why is that wrong? And I just said, stop. Okay, I'm sorry. As soon as I say I'm sorry, I acknowledge those things I did were wrong, I just start crying. Now, listen, brother, you never cry in prison.
Yeah.
If you cry, they hear you. The next day, you're going to cry for a different reason. I mean, this is no bullshit. Sure. I'm in maximum security. Okay? I couldn't stop crying. But it wasn't out of fear. It wasn't out of sadness. It was the weirdest cry I ever had. It was like a cleansing. It was like healing. And I got off my knees. I felt like I started floating. I said, what the fuck? I literally thought I was floating. I cried maybe an hour and a half straight. I don't know. It was a long-ass time. But when I laid back on that bed, it was a piece of mattress just all beat up out shit, piece of concrete coming out of the wall, and just laying there, it just makes you angry. I thought I was floating on a cloud. I turned my head to the right. There's a toilet. I didn't smell it that night. I could sit on my toilet and brush my teeth, single drip, drip, never heard a drip. I literally thought I was floating. I was in heaven. That was the first night I ever had peace. then I say, hey, God, if I die tomorrow, I'm cool. But if you let me live, I will serve you. I don't know what the fuck I meant. I know what that meant to serve him.
Sure.
But I just said, I can't live that old lifestyle anymore.
Sure.
And I said, I will serve you. So miracles happen. All right, they caught my godfather, deported back to Hong Kong. And from there, they let me go. And so right when I got out, everybody, back then we had pagers. We'd get the page.
Yeah, I remember that shit.
Yeah. We had
Motorola pagers.
That's right. So we grabbed our bag, money and gun, wherever we hit it. We disappear for a while to get the next page, come back surface. Because when they take Godfather out, we have to hide, right? Instead of hiding, I went straight to them. I said, man, I changed my life. I got to do all this. They said, no, you know how it goes. Blood in, blood out. So they're going to have to kill me. Or when they get us, they take all of our driver's license, so they know all of our family and stuff. They're going to kill all my families publicly and slowly. So they tried to bring me back in. One thing after, I could tell you stories over and over, miracles, where I had to kill somebody or they had to kill me. And shit just messed up. I never had to do it. So, long story. Go ahead.
All the obstacles on the way seem to be removed one by one. And like the story, the way you're telling the story, man. But first of all, it's not this is the truth being revealed here. You're not going to hear this fucking... You're not gonna hear this anywhere. You're gonna see this in a fucking movie, and it's not real. But what's being revealed here is here's a man with like, dude. I can't even imagine the fucking horror that you must be living in. Like, just to know that, dude. There's nothing in my control. I literally have I can be removed. My family, and then the obstacles one by one removed by this bigger hand from the above.
So let me tell you one story. First time I heard the voice, I didn't even know I heard a voice. We were getting processed in. The FBI just swooped down on us. Gold chains, gold, all blinged out. Because I showed my status and power and wealth. We're getting processed. And I'm with 3 of my boys in the tank. And we're getting, 2 of my boys, me in the tank, and we're getting processed. These 3, 4 big black guys come up to me. Yo, what you want to do, dog? And I knew, because the culture, I know what he's doing. And I remembered, I was in a daze, oh shit, he wants my gold stuff. Fuck you. Because if I pussied out right there, it gets populated in the population. You know what I mean? Everybody knows.
Sure.
Right? And my boys stood up because they know I weighed less than 110 pounds. Hair long back in ponytail. I loved Steven Seagal back then, right?
Yeah.
And I was just trying to beat somebody. I was like, natural. Every time I got in prison, it was violence.
Yeah.
So I'm going down. I'm either going to die or this guy's going to die. That's the only way we fight. One of us is going down. And right when I stood up, my boys got up. They were just waiting for me to do the first swing. And those black guys kind of got scared when I jumped up. And listen, 110 pounds max. These guys are 185, 200 easy. And all of a sudden, I looked at them, said, fuck you. I just gave them all my shit. My boys, what happened? I heard something. And then when that guy walked off, he turned and looked at me, he goes, smart move. And he spit out the razors. All 3 of us could have been dead. He had razors in his mouth.
And so, of course, then you didn't know it was the voice, but today you're able to see that.
Now I know it's the voice. Because that's against my nature.
So, again, so many obstacles.
Yes.
So many obstacles in your life has been removed by this bigger hand.
Yes.
And so, of course, you didn't know it was God, right? So you see it's coincidence or whatever. But you come out of the prison and you have these things imposed on you, and everything gets removed. And where do you find yourself at that point? Where you find yourself in a normal life, living with your family? What happens to you then?
You don't know. There's a God. 1990, I was top 10 most wanted in Dallas County. I said, fuck this, I'm going back. When we took our bags and our money, I said, I'm just going to go back. I went, called all the guys, and they thought I was dead already. The reputation in New York, from Dallas, everybody in Dallas thought I was dead. So oh shit, he's alive. We had this big party. I went talk to my lawyer. I told my lawyer I want to turn myself in. So my lawyer was like $10,000 a pop back then, and this was in the 80s. $10,000 a pop.
That's a lot of money.
And he goes like this. He goes, wait. You're telling me you want to turn yourself in? There's a statute of limitation. You hide out 2-3 more years, you're safe. I go, no, I found God in prison. And he goes, say that again? I found God in prison. He went got his business partner. Just to how rich this guy is, his office is huge. He had an ashtray with a cigar, and the ashtray was a vacuum cleaner. It sucked the cigar smell. Shit. I never seen anything like that. I was like, what the fuck, right? And he goes like this. He goes, tell me what you told me. And I was so serious. I was a young kid, but I was serious. I met God in prison. If I met God in prison, he'll keep me safe when I go back in. I'm just tired of running. I can't run. And they both just started laughing at me. He goes, son, don't you know everybody meets God in prison? But I was fucking serious. Everybody else was using that as a story to get them out.
Yeah.
I was serious.
Yeah.
So he goes, you sure you want to do this? I said, call the judge. He put a date in for me to turn myself in.
Yeah.
I got high, drunk all that night before, just had the Bible, took and checked myself in. I don't remember. I think it was my girlfriend at the time dropped me off at the courthouse. Checked myself in, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm the first one, right?
Yeah.
Turned myself in, and guess who was sitting there waiting for me? The 3 guys I stabbed. They're in ICU. One was in ICU about to die. That's why I was stuck for a long time. The other 2 got in and out, but they were waiting for me. And they recognized me. I didn't recognize it. I just saw 3 big white motherfuckers come up to right for court. And I was like, my guards went up like, holy shit. This is my, the trash I created. I didn't know what happened until they got in there and they testified against me because they want to make sure I get all my sentence, all this stuff, right?
Got it.
Because I built on their stuff. The judge goes, all right, you're getting arraigned. Go in, we're processing, boom. I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna be there forever. But here's the truth. I go in, I'm the first one processed. People in prison come out. So I'm on this side of the wing, they're on this side.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there. I went and grabbed all the toilet paper right away because I was the first one. And that's money in prison, right? And then all I heard them saying, motherfucker, it's not my fault, I'm gonna kill the bitch. And I was like, man, this is the language was so foreign. And I was like, hey, God, this is crazy. Because I know what's going to happen. I'm going to have to kill somebody or they're going to kill me. Because I'm going to do some time. Top 10 most wanted. And that language you're speaking was so foreign in my soul. And like the guard comes up to me, hey, Mr. Ching Chong Chung. I go, oh, fuck, I'm going to kill him first. The CO, I said, I'm going to kill him first. The judge wants to see. I was like, oh, fuck, he found out about New York. He found out what I did in New York. And he did. I go and stand in front of the judge. He goes, I got a letter from the district attorney. She wrote him a letter. And it said, I saw Sang be a part of one of the most notorious gang with the most murders. And she listed the gang, all the murders that I was a part of. But I saw some changed man. Something happened that he's turning himself into this, that he's a changed man. I have no jurisdiction over you. And I'm requesting you do some leniency because, we don't want to populate population. He's breaking them all, blah, blah, blah. I had no idea. He was just reading. I was like, oh, fuck,
so what happened?
Fuck, I'm dead. He says, do you have family here? I said, yes. We go to school. Yes. This and that. $10,000 probation, $10,000 fine. I don't know. All this crazy shit.
So more obstacles removed.
Done. I turned myself in from being top 10 most wanted.
Yeah. And then what happened after that? Like what happened? Like once you received the gift, like it's a fucking gift. So what do you go and give the gift away? What do you do?
I told you. I still think I'm a piece of shit now.
Okay.
I just got lucky.
Yeah.
I got God on my side now.
Yeah.
So I started working. I'm doing donuts. I got my GED, good enough degree, and I went to get a technical degree in music. I wanted to be a music producer and all that stuff. Working donut shops. I was working sales. I was working my ass off because I wanted to learn about God. So I'd go all these Bible studies. I'm the only non-white person at all these Bible studies. And I'm going crazy. And they're saying like, God forgives. Get the fuck out of here. This is awesome. Like, holy shit. They're not used to people cussing like that.
Yeah.
I'm just authentic. I just got out of prison, man.
Yeah.
And I'm just wanting to learn more and more about God. And at that time, my pastor goes, would you stop going to all these Bible studies? I go, no way. You're going to kill yourself. You're working like 3 jobs and you're going to Bible study. Why don't you go to Bible college? I go, get the fuck out. They got college. You teaching you the Bible? And I went checked in Bible college.
And you became a pastor?
No. I just told, they go, what are you majoring? I go, what do you mean majoring? I just come here to learn the Bible so I can learn about God. They go, well, don't you want to be like a pastor? I don't want to be like a pastor. I don't know what the fuck that is. I don't qualify for that. Long story short, I just want to study the Bible. They took me talk to the dean, the professor, the head guy. You know what he did? Gave me a full scholarship.
Nice.
What the? He goes, who are you? Why would you do this? I didn't know what a pastor is. I just wanted to learn about God, my relationship with Him.
So another obstacle was removed, and now
financial. I had no money. Brother.
So then you become a pastor.
I become a pastor.
And how long you serve as a pastor?
Oh my gosh, I've been married 22 years. Up until the last maybe 5 years.
Okay, many years as a pastor.
Yeah.
Okay, so talk about some of the fruits the work that you've shared with me. Going to trips and.
Oh my goodness.
Talk to me about couple of the number of churches you opened.
Yeah.
Because your story is quite fucking inspirational to men.
Well, you know why?
Because it's the dark and the light and the dark, and then. We're going to tie it into the experience of Warrior Week. But before that, I want you to paint me the picture of this 15 years in your accomplishment as a servant and a leader.
Got it.
For God.
So here's the big thing. If the men are listening now,
Yeah.
the reason I was so successful, I needed a container for my leadership. And that gave me a container. So I'm a pastor now. I'm taking men overseas to Asia to call them vision trips. You're a business leader, you're this and that. You don't have to become a pastor or missionary. Fucking use the skills you have to serve the poor.
Yeah.
So they did. We went over there to help nonprofits, and we give them business development, fish farms, pig farms. We started churches and leadership development programs, and they loved it. They didn't know I brought a cop, I brought a businessman, I brought a banker, I brought all these different guys go over there with me 2 weeks in Asia, and they just gave themselves away and taught them skills, leadership skills. And they were so inspired because these were laymen. These were lay leaders that they looked up to.
Yeah.
They weren't pastors and missionaries. They're like, I want to be them, and they're here teaching us how to be great human beings, and they're not looking down at us. We'd come back, and we'd be high for weeks and months because we just gave ourselves away. And we're raising up next generation leaders in the most poor, impoverished
Building
areas.
churches. Managing huge ass budgets. You find yourself managing.
No, here's the funny part, because I had to manage big budgets in churches, and I was a director of a nonprofit. Christians have great hearts. They have shitty skills. Back in the day, right? So I realized I'm not going to be one of those shitty Christians. I have the best heart, but I need to get some skill sets. And I went and got my MBA. Because I didn't want to be one of those assholes who have this great heart but can't manage the money.
So then you managed the money for a while, and it was big money, and it was a project allocation for building churches and sending men on mission and wills to be open. And so fast forward to Warrior Week, day one, in the pit.
Yep.
In the darkness. We take you all the way back to what you described here in the first 30, 40 minutes of this podcast, which is your experience on the dark side. And then riding the waves of the light side, right, as a pastor. And then I face you and I tell you 2 words. Do you remember what it was 2 words?
Well, I don't know if it was 2 words, but I remember you said that you're the biggest lying motherfucker I know.
Yes, but I started with what?
Fuck you?
Yes. So I looked at you. I said, fuck you. You're the biggest fucking lying motherfucker that I seen in my life. Because I thought it was me. Because I was a fucking pro at lying.
Yes.
But then I said, oh, fuck, this guy's a fucking pro too. Like, I saw it the minute you went live initially in the Warrior Book virtual training that we had. And then you came on the interview and I told you, fuck you again on the interview. But the night in the pit, I said fuck you because not because I was seeing you as a bad guy, but because, brother, you were lost in the light. The one place that you needed to be honest and serve was at home, and for years you have not been the servant and the leader at home. You have been the servant and the leader so many other places. And all I brought you was that, hey man, you're not a liar on the outside. The things that you do for the churches and the people, you're a goddamn fucking liar at home.
That's right.
And that stroked a pain in you that it was worse than the mafia. It was worse than the gang, the prison, everything else you experienced. Talk to me about that night and what happened to you that night, because the processing began after that.
So, Coach Sam, you got to understand, when you're in the mafia, you're expected to get stabbed in the back. It's a game. Yeah. We submit ourselves to this game. Nobody becomes a mafia boss after about 25. Yeah. All that movie, TV shit, that's bullshit. Yeah. After 25, if you live that long, you become an uncle. And if you lived up to like 35, 40, then you're a godfather, because the way we stacked it, godfather, 3 uncles, each uncle gets 3 bosses. And you're a boss between ages of 18, 19 to 25. I'm expected to die at a very young age, but all the rewards great. Drugs, sex, all that every night. Endless amount of money. But what I didn't expect to get stabbed back was in the church. And what happened was I got so stabbed in the back at the church, the leaders I raised turned on me because I was rocking the institutional stagnant routines we're doing. And I was calling out shit, and I was raising up leaders, calling people's divorce out. And I was like, this is what real pastor is. I shed light that we're in the shadow and darkness. We're lying motherfuckers. And instead of saying, yes, we're set free, they said, fuck you, we want to stay in the dark. And they stabbed me in the back.
Shit.
And here's why I lied to my family. Everything's fine. Not everything's fucking fine. Financially in a hole. I'm disconnected from my wife. I'm no longer leading my kids. Because I was dead.
You lived a lie.
I lived a lie. Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
The mask.
Oh my God.
Wear the mask at home.
Dude, wearing the mask at home, wearing mask outside, everything's fine. Everything's fine. Because I'm feeling this little cultural bubble. So I couldn't be honest.
I want to stop you here, right? Because I want to talk to the audience about the following. Everything is fine. Isn't that the biggest fucking lie that we tell ourselves as men? Like you think about this. Think about you as a professional in the banking industry, as a professional, as a doctor, a surgeon, or as a professional working in the government, as politician, as a businessman, whatever your profession is. And you like, there's a story that's being told, and that is, man, I'm wearing a fucking mask. Here's a story of a gang member, being in prison, being a pastor, being a businessman, and like wearing a mask. Like, out of all this stuff and everything in your childhood and everything else, the greatest pain becomes, God damn it, wearing a mask. Because wearing a mask completely fucking isolates you, man. And you feel alone. And this is not a social aloneness, but this is a place where you operate alone. And it's hell on fucking earth. The biggest pain for men in society today, across the world, is living and operating alone in a space where they have to wear a goddamn mask and say everything is okay. Isn't that some simple fucking language? My biggest pain out of everything that I told you.
That's right.
One would say, fuck, man, your biggest pain must have been the horror and all the shit that you've seen in the gang and the prison, the FBI and everything that they were after you and all the backstab. No, it has simply been wearing a fucking mask at home. That's my biggest pain.
That's my biggest pain.
That was your biggest pain in coming to Warrior. Fast forward to final day of Warrior. We're not going to talk about the specific evolution, but there is a cleansing evolution that takes place that puts every pieces of the puzzle of your life together. There was a transformational moment. You have changed. Not to become another man, but you've simply found yourself from that moment. Everything in your life has been played in a way for you to actually find yourself. How do I know that? Because you have lived that man in you and continue to live that man, and you have changed entire families. You have changed your own family, your relationship with your wife, with your boys. Everything about your life has changed for what's the most priority in your life. So talk to us about the shifting moment. You know exactly what I'm talking about, and without giving away the exact evolution.
Sure. Well, there's a couple. So if this is not the one you're thinking of, there's a couple. But one evolution happened where I had to trust you and Coach Jesse. In my mind, it didn't make fucking sense. Are you kidding me? It's almost against everything you said. And I had to go back into the mafia days. And here's what the mafia day is. You never question, you just do it. But a lot of times they did a lot of dumb shit for their selfishness. But you and Coach Jesse were not that way. But exact same thing as the church. Don't challenge the authority. We're established church, you just do what the fuck we tell you. So all those things from the mafia and the church were confronting me as you and Coach Jesse asked me to do something. I'm like, fuck you guys. Either I surrender to you guys and lose who I am again. Or right now I make a decision for myself. Right now I get to choose. Do I just do it because the institution told me? Or I do it because I believe what I'm doing? In that moment, trust the process became clear for me. That you guys would never have anything in your heart, your motive intent that would hurt me or other people. I experienced it for 4 days. And I broke. It was like I had this internal fight. And I finally broke it. And I chose for myself that day that I was going to do it and trust the process. And I never felt more like a man. Like I owned my shit. No longer blaming on the institution. No longer blaming on the mafia boss. No longer blaming on, fucking Coach Jesse and fucking Coach Sam. No longer blaming everybody. I owned it. I said, I'm going to trust the process. I saw, it's like scales came off my eyes. The world became HD, 4K. I could see everything more clearly soon as I owned it. But I wanted to blame you. I said, you motherfucker, I can't believe this. Because you pricked something so deep inside me about loyalty. You pricked something so deep inside me about trust. You did something deep so inside me that all the fucking stepfathers fucked me over. You know what? I had over 5 stepfathers. I don't have my biological dad's last name. I don't have any of those stepfathers' last name. None of those motherfuckers gave me their last name. Talking about betrayal, distrust, all that bullshit.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here with you and Coach Jesse asking me to do something that felt like betrayal in my heart. Asking me to do something to trust you guys. Authority, men with authority in my life. Yeah. That was the biggest fucking breakthrough I had in my life.
Yes, I know.
That was huge.
Everything changed from that moment.
Because I had to trust my authority.
And everything fucking changed.
Dominoes.
In the most
boom, 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 boom,
beautiful. Like, dude, think about like just the story that you shared here. Your son telling the 15-year-old pastor, that motherfucker, here is the problem. This is a 17-year-old. 8 months ago, this 17-year-old would not have this power.
No.
You know where the fuck he mirrored that power?
Yeah.
You projected the power on him. When I say your kids mirror everything that you do, that's exact. Your certainty, your confidence in you for the first time in your life now gets projected in your son, and boom, comes out the power. It's not coming from a place of force. It's coming from a place of power, and he's attracted to it. That's why he comes and he borrows it.
That's right. You want to hear something funny?
Yeah.
My boys are cussing like sailors now. It's so funny. But they don't cuss just to cuss.
Sure.
They cuss to emphasize something. We were watching a show last night, a movie together, Tuesday nights, our family night, called Wonder. And this one person really pissed off my son. He goes, kick his fucking ass.
Yeah.
I've never heard him talk like that.
Yeah.
You know, my middle son, I was like, whoa, you do it, Josh. Come on.
Hey, man, you know, I want to bring my son and I want to watch a movie with you guys one night.
Oh, we'd do it. Well, it was so fun. Tuesday nights.
Yeah.
Tuesday nights, our family night, we watch movies, play games.
We're going to crack some Chinese joke.
Oh, do it. You know.
And you can crack some Persian joke. But I want to do that.
Oh, I'd love it.
And the point is this. Yes, you came into Warrior Week. It was a process. But there was also a beautiful friendship that grown from that.
Yes.
Between me, you and your brothers, Coach Jesse.
Yes.
And dude, like, this is not going away.
No.
Because for the first time, we were all in this circle of trust.
Yes.
And for the first time ever, we didn't feel that this circle doesn't invite anybody else, or we're being out-circled. It is a feeling of belonging.
That's right. It was what I've been searching for, the most authentic version, what I've been searching for my whole life. Just true acceptance from another man where I didn't have to perform. I didn't have to sell drugs for you. I didn't have to hurt anybody for you. I didn't have to kiss your ass. It was because you said you work on yourself. You lead yourself. And you led yourself. And so there's no competition there. And so that was the first time I had these brothers who accepted me. I didn't do shit for them.
No.
All I did is lead myself.
Yes.
They were impressed with that.
Yes.
They didn't do shit for me.
They followed you because of that.
Lead their self.
Yes.
And there was no strings attached.
You didn't do that so that you can get something out of it. There was no organizer's interest involved.
No.
You talk about organized religion, organized crime.
Yep.
Anything fucking organized always serves the organizer's interest.
There you go.
In this case, there was no fucking organizers. You quickly realized that we didn't organize this shit. We just created the environment for you to find the leader within.
That's
and
right.
that has changed everything for your relationship with your wife, your kids, and the boys, and our friendship, and everything that goes around it. Final words. This has been a phenomenal conversation. It's been a conversation of truth.
Yeah.
Which most men won't even have the fucking balls to share, right? They won't. But this has been a phenomenal conversation, and the purpose of this, the intent of this, is for these wavelength of voices, sound, energy to be propelled into the world, just like throwing a stone in the lake and allow the pebble to just cross the waves all across, so somewhere, somehow, someone can hear this. If you would talk directly to dads out there, specifically men of God, men of organized religion, organized crime, men being part of an organized organization, What would be your final message, man?
So organizations in themselves are not wrong or bad. We live in this world, everything's structured, or we have chaos. You have to choose an organization that you come and contribute to, not you come and take for your identity. So when you lead yourself, and you leading yourself will attract an organization. You'll find an organization where you place your gifts in it. And then from there, be in that organization. But here's the truth. You go and lead yourself, but it's not a one-time thing. You just don't come warrior for a weekend, it's over. You don't even join the Kings for the next 90 days. It gets over in 90 days. You lead yourself daily. I have a reminder I sit in my office, I look at every day, that I hunt for my purpose every day. I lead myself every day. Every day it is work. And the only time we stop is when we're dead, because we have a purpose being here. So, my brothers, I want to tell you, I've looked for a Savior all my life. I got him. His name is Jesus Christ. But then he wasn't enough, because he was part of an institution, all this. Then I had to, and I looked for a man's blessing. I looked for a man to be my Savior. I had business partner after business partner. I was never enough. And after Warrior, this is where my wife said it, my friends, my mentors, everybody in my life that knows me finally said, Sebastian, you're leading yourself. I don't have a business partner anymore. I'm the only man. I'm restructuring my whole business because I fucked it up before Warrior. My wife is so excited to see me not need a Savior except for Jesus, but I'm not looking for a man to be my Savior. I'm leading myself. I'm taking 100% responsibility of the direction I'm going, my family's going. So my friend, I want to tell you, that's what, I can tell you stories after stories what I learned here at Warrior Week, how I've applied them within the last year, and how it's transformed my family and my marriage, my friendships, everything. But it started off here. I had to take 100% responsibility where I was at in the pit, get the tools, get out of the pit, and then it's a daily work. I hunt every day for my purpose. And some days, I sleep in because I'm fucking tired. I sleep in. But the next day I wake up, I got to go hunting again. I don't hold myself and beat myself up because I slept in. I said, you know what? Today's a new day. Go fucking hunting. Because you have your family. I have the church. I have people behind me, counting on me, leading myself. And once I do that, I can lead them.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And if the words of Sang and the conversations of the truth that we had tonight here resonated in your heart, and it's time for you to actually do something about it, you go to warriorweek.com, you apply, and your journey begins there. You may be one of the guys that come in here and experiences what Sang has experienced. But if you're the kind of guy that just got shifted a bit from this conversation and found value in this, but not enough for you to do something about it, I would consider that you're a fucking liar. Look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself the truth. The truth is either masked by your ego or by your ignorance. The pain exists in all of us men. This pain of being alone. And if you feel that you already belong in places that you're not alone, then you shouldn't even be on this podcast to begin with. I'm surprised why the fuck you listen to this for an hour. But if you are the kind of man that somehow resonated and something inside of you have shifted, do yourself a fucking favor and at least forward this to another man. Mm-hmm. Where maybe you can at least have an impact by forwarding this until you find the voice within and find where you can actually start operating from the place of truth. And that doesn't mean necessarily you have to absolutely come to Warrior Week in order to find that. Maybe this conversation by itself is the beginning of the shift process. And that is the entire intent of this podcast. You can find more stories on the podcast, previous podcasts, recorded pictures, videos, and details at warriorweeknow.com. You can also go to iTunes and Google Play and type in Warrior Week and subscribe to the podcast. Leave a note, leave an audio, leave whatever. Leave your feelings, man, on the comments, and invite others to join in this conversation. This has been one of the most fucking real, man, conversation. Like you don't hear this shit. Like you don't hear the structure of fucking mafia. You don't hear the organized religion. You don't hear that. Like you just don't hear that other than in movies, and it's all goddamn fucking lies in movies because let's be real. Whatever it's on TV, I mean, what the fuck? You know, who puts reality on TV? It's a fucking lie.
Yeah.
So, Sebastian, Sang, thank you for being here. Thank you for bringing your story
Thanks,
and
Coach.
having an impact.
Thanks for having me, Coach.
Okay, we're going to end this with a Chinese goodbye or a salutation, which is going to say, Lei Ho Ma. And then I'm going to add something to it too. I'm going to say, Lei Ho Ma Ding Lang Dong Da Ma. If you don't know what that means, we're just going to leave it at that.
There you go,
Thanks for
Coach.
being here, man.
All right.